The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of KSMQ Public Service Media Incorporated or its assigns.
Hi, I'm Dan Hoffman from Farm Connections at KSMQ. Thanks for joining us tonight. Tonight's topic is agricultural youth programs. And with us in the studio tonight, on my right, Jan McNallen from Pine Island, and my far right, Paige Allen from St. Charles. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Jan, and how you got started with 4-H and youth programs?
Well, like you said, Dan, I'm from the Pine Island area. I do almost all my volunteering from the Olmsted County program. But I started with the 4-H program when I was a young child. I was a 10-year 4-H'er in Goodhue County and graduated from the program. All four of our four children are in the 4-H program and graduated with it, and now I have grandchildren in it, and I've stayed real strong with volunteering as a project leader, and I judge at many county fairs, and I just have stayed active in it.
Sounds like a great family program.
Absolutely. It's one of the most famous tools that I use when promoting 4-H. It's family orientated.
Thank you, Jan. Paige, how did you get started in 4-H, and is that the only youth organization you've been involved in?
Well, I grew up on a farm outside of Eyota, Minnesota, and I started showing pigs and then eventually cattle, and so I was involved in 4-H through that. And then in high school, joined the FFA and became more involved with the officer roles in FFA. And now I am the coordinator of the Minnesota Junior Spring Classic, which is a cattle show in Austin, Minnesota.
When is that show?
Every April. So this last year it was April 17th and 18th.
Thank you. And your 4-H experience helped you with that?
Yes, very much. I've learned leadership roles through 4-H, serving as an officer on our 4-H team, and also through FFA, serving as a region officer and chapter officer positions.
All in the St. Charles FFA chapter?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, 4-H has had a long history in Minnesota. Do you remember when it actually started in Olmsted County?
In Olmsted County, no, I don't. I mean, it started, but just a few years ago now, 4-H celebrated its 100th anniversary as of the state, but it started in Olmsted County, no. So, but it started, it celebrated its 100th anniversary, so it's been around a long time.
A long time and a good program.
Absolutely.
When did you first get started, and what drew you to working with young people in 4-H?
I've been volunteering now for 32 years as an adult. And I guess because of my grassroots, and my husband was also a 4-H'er, and when we lived out in the country, a 4-H family even came to knocking at our door and selling 4-H candy and invited us to the next 4-H meeting, and it's sort of been history ever since. And we started just in being involved in a very, very active 4-H club. And we just sort of took our role and taken our turn in being key leaders and project leaders, and I've just always continued.
Well, I know you come well recommended. I was on a farm in Goodhue County, and I said, can we get somebody to talk about youth programs in 4-H? Yes, Jan McNallen. your name came up. So I know you're well thought of in that area. How many generations of young people have you worked with, do you think?
Oh, I have worked with 3 for sure, 3 just sets of generations for 4-H for sure.
And what's been the highlight in that 32 years?
The highlight is watching the kids reach their potentials in 4-H and in leaderships, and then I try to help them set new goals and to reach their potential and to see them become the leaders that they would not have been otherwise. And I think too they become so involved in the programs, but involved in their community. And I think this is one of the strongest assets of 4-H is to be involved in your community. Being caring, building your self-character, it's a well-rounded program.
Paige, would you agree with that?
Yes, 4-H is a very good program to start out as a youngster. I was age 5 when I started in 4-H, and it has really taught me a lot about how to just work with livestock, yet work on projects and dedication and determination to succeed.
Great. What were your first projects?
My first projects were home improvement, and so I created quilts, or did a lot of sewing projects, or I also did flower gardening, and so I'd do cut flowers or plant planters and take those to the fair. Those were my first projects. Once I got up the courage to show pigs, my dad at the time was raising pigs. I started showing pigs probably at age 6, and so I started to get involved with the livestock. And eventually we moved to St. Charles in town, and I was given the opportunity. I had a passion to show cattle. A local farmer said that I could show cattle and keep the cattle at his farm, and so I started showing cattle in 7th grade.
So Paige, you're an example of a person who's done a lot of rural and agricultural things, and yet you lived in town.
Yes.
And from what Jan told me, 4-H has something for urban plus agriculture. Can you expand on that just a little bit?
Well, I think so many people have the stereotype image that 4-H is just for farm kids, or raising animals and taking bread to the fair. And we've gone way beyond that with even shooting sports and wildlife and the leadership and learning how to speak in front of a crowd. And so there's something there for everybody, those that live in both the urban and the rural setting. And I think this is what the people need to be educated on, because it's for all the youth from age grades kindergarten through the 1 year past high school. And they get to choose the projects of their choice. They get to choose how many they get to want to take. And it's a lifelong skill on 4-H, and the opportunities with learning to speak in front of people through the demonstrations, as well as being involved in the community and meeting new friends and having fun.
Paige, you're a 10-year member?
Yes, I am.
So you're a graduate and received the 10-year pin?
Yes, yes. I showed all the way through 4-H, was especially involved, like I said, in showing pigs and beef, but I've done a lot of other projects not requiring you to live on a farm, and that's the nice part about 4-H. It's about learning lifelong skills to be able to branch out on and use in the future, and so I believe 4-H is able to do that.
What was the name of your 4-H club?
Little Valley Victors. And when I was in EOTA for the first 4 years that I was in FFA or 4-H, it was EOTA Wonder Workers.
Is the club still active?
Yes, both of them are. Actually, we're still helping out. My mom and I always plant the welcome sign outside of the Winona County Fairgrounds, and we're actually getting a new sign this year, and we're going to help plant in front of the sign. So still staying involved with the 4-H club.
I see that because I judge at the Winona County Fair, so I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Jan, that must have been what you were talking about when you said one of the goals of the 4-H program is to get lifelong skills and community development, community involvement. I just heard Paige talk about planting at the Winona County Fair. Is that what your goal is?
Oh, the goal is you don't stop as soon as you finish the 4-H program. You still go on being involved in your community, and then you become a volunteer, a youth volunteer like Paige has, and you just keep giving back. And I think the thing is you sort of get hooked on the 4-H program because you get involved in the program, and you just want to keep going back and improving your skills, and you see the youth in action, and a lot of times you're helping younger members do the same. And I guess that's why I've sort of stayed in with the volunteering so much, is because I like to instill in the youth reaching their goals and reaching their potential. At the same time, I'm giving back to the community as well.
Let's say someone's watching the show today or tonight and they want to find out more about 4-H. Is there a website they can access?
Well, first of all, you can call your own local extension office, but there's a website, www.extension.umn.edu.
Perfect. And otherwise, just call your county extension office.
Call your county extension office, visit a county fair, or there's always some friends or neighbors that know something about 4-H, yes.
Paige, can you tell us about your most enjoyable experience in 4-H? Was that the county fair? Was it the demonstrations? Was it a meeting? What was it?
I would say the most enjoyable experience I had was 2 years ago. I took a flower garden to the county fair and won grand champion, and it was a cut flower entry, and so I was able to recreate something to go to state fair. And so I was able to compete at the state fair, which is a difficult thing to get the flowers there all intact, but it was a great experience, and I actually won Grand Champion Indoor Flower Gardening. And that was a lot of fun because I got to expand my horizons, look for creative ways to apply my knowledge and use that and show it to others and just be a beauty to others.
Fantastic. Grand champion.
Yes.
And I think that's important, just like Paige says, to try to do something different, and sometimes you have to go out of your comfort zone or out of your box to try something different, and even to take flowers, cut flowers to the state fair is a real tribute to yourself.
And some competition that's pretty vigorous.
Yes.
Good for you. What year was that?
2007.
And more recently, you're a college student at Northwestern in St. Paul, correct? Northwest College.
Northwestern College.
Northwestern, thank you. And you're studying?
Finance.
How did your 4-H experience or FFA experience help you in that college transition and becoming a sophomore at college?
Well, through 4-H and FFA, I had the opportunity to be able to lead others, but also get out of my comfort zone. Like we've talked about, when you go into judging for 4-H, you bring your project in, and the judge will ask you several questions about your project, and you have to know your project well. And so through my ability to be able to speak to others, I was able to be more effective in college and be able to reach out to upperclassmen and my professors and be able to get to know them well enough to be able to learn more and use them as resources.
Did that also help you with employment on campus?
Yes, actually last year I sought out one of my professors. I had the first semester my freshman year, principles of marketing. I sought him out and asked if he needed a teacher assistant for the next year, and we kept talking about it, and he gave me little projects to do, and eventually we came up with an agreement that I would be his teacher assistant this past year. And so that's given me a really great experience to be able to mentor underclassmen. I work really closely with incoming freshmen and also lead the business department with the other teacher assistants.
Do you think that the 4-H experience and FFA experience helped you get that job?
Yes. I wouldn't have had the courage to be able to go up to my professors and make relationships. Being a smaller college, we have a really good opportunity to do that. But being able to talk with others and be able to show my leadership skills really helped me get that job.
So self-confidence, lifelong skills, community development, and even jobs?
Yes.
Does it get better than this, Jan?
No, because I think you carry those skills all the way through, and I think a strong suit is learning to speak in front of people, and even someone in 3rd grade learning to give the demonstration the first time, even though they may have butterflies in their stomach, but in every year they get less butterflies and a better demonstration and better demonstration all the way through. And I think also with being an officer, you take on the responsibilities, whether you're a president or a secretary or a treasurer. Each officer comes with responsibilities, so you're also becoming involved in being an officer, parliamentary procedure, and those skills will definitely carry over into your life and also, job interviews. You will stand out strong in those areas.
I think we've got good evidence of that with Paige.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Paige, you mentioned your parents. Would you mind mentioning their names?
Jim and Char Allen. They're again from St. Charles. My dad works at Merchants Bank in St. Charles and has been a supporter of me through my 4-H and FFA experiences, and so is my mom. She's an avid gardener, so I've learned a lot of my skills and creativity from her.
So I think Paige just mentioned something. It's multi-generational in 4-H from what I'm hearing from both of you, and a chance for 2 generations to work on a project together. And I'm a 10-year 4-H member as well, and my mother insisted that we do the 4-H demonstration, and it was painful at the time, but it was so worth it. What recommendations do you have to young people looking at joining 4-H or being involved, or FFA, either one?
I'd say get involved starting early, whether it's even in clover buds, starting in 4-H at a clover bud level, which is the youngest you can be. Just taking a project to the fair, having your kids claim a project as their own, working on it, whether it's gardening or quilting or there's so many different contests that you can be involved in, submitting something, and just being able to start out young, branch out with your club to meet other families and learn new projects. And I would say even in FFA, get involved. It starts with being able to find an FFA program and being able to find out what you're good at. But ag advisors are really good at helping you figure that out. So I would say get involved at a young age.
Thank you. And Jan, advice to parents with young children that might be 4-H candidates?
Well, I think today, as busy of a world that we live in, you need something to do something with your kids, something that's family. And with 4-H, we promote it as such a family opportunity, a family organization. And whether you're cleaning up the ditches or going to the nursing home, do it with your kids to have that bond or help them do their first demonstration. And 4-H now really stand strong with being involved in your community. Get involved in your community right in your backyard. Know the mayor of your town and know who's in the nursing home. You may go singing in the nursing home or beautify a parkway. It starts in your backyard in your community, and then from there a lot of times it may build higher suits, but it starts at grassroots right in your local town. Thanks.
You brought some nice things with you, including the display board behind Paige. And it does talk a lot about community. What are some things you can tell us about the nice things you brought us?
Well, first of all, one thing that stands strong with 4-H, and Paige knows about, is about we always have records. And sometimes members may not be their famous part in 4-H, but it is being accountable for what you do, as well as keeping track of all your projects, as well as what you've done well in it, but all the projects that you do, what went well. Many include the pictures, many include the ribbons, but it's being accountable for what you've done. At the same time, there's always awards for your record keeping. It's a big floral ribbon there in front. And also then we have the ribbons that most people know from the county fairs. This first one here is the red, white, and blue. It's for like the clover buds where it's not a competition. They get a participation ribbon for doing the best that they can. And then, of course, people know the ribbon system from the red, the blue, the champion in your class, and then, of course, the grand champion overall. And all those things lead to just great memories. People put them in their scrapbooks and have those for a lifetime. But I think record keeping is one of the strongest things that we can do, because no matter what in life, we have to keep track of our records, or even for taxes. And a lot of times it starts right here in 4-H. And also, a lot of it is accountability for even when you go on to college. Sometimes they'll say, what have you done in your community, or show us some of the things that you've done for leadership. And record keeping, you'll have it right here in front of you.
When I think about records, I'm thinking there's some corporate executives that maybe should have gone through 4-H, and maybe they should have taken some training in ethics. Do you do anything in ethics along with this?
It could help, and I think also with ethics, but doing the records and being accountable for what you've done, and also telling us, what went well in your project, but also what went maybe wrong, and what do you want to do to improve on for next year.
Excellent. And Paige, you've been a 10-year member, and now you've been out for 2 years. Do you go back to your 4-H club and help some?
I do. Actually, last year I did not show. I was working up at a Christian camp up north. But this summer I'm looking forward to helping out, possibly at the county fair, and helping the younger kids show cattle. I'm still showing cattle, but being involved with many different ways, even serving with the Lions booth, working in the food stand this year, and just being around and being involved.
How did that 10-year experience help you with the transition and being involved in FFA?
Well, starting out in 4-H, I was able to see what I really enjoyed, and through 10 years I was able to see that I really had a passion for horticulture, and I still love to show cattle and pigs, and so as I went into FFA, I knew I had some interest to pinpoint on, and so I was able to join the general livestock judging team and judge for that, and join the floriculture team and judge flowers.
Excellent. And you took office inside of FFA through the regional level?
Yes, I was a region officer. I was the region reporter for the year of 2006 to 2007.
And you had many opportunities around the state with that, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was really great. I got to meet a lot of different officers from other regions. Along with going to state convention, I went to the National FFA convention as well for the 5 years that I was in FFA.
Super. Thank you very much. Jan, what keeps you doing this? 32 years is a long time.
32 years is a long time, but I believe in the program. I believe what it can offer the youth, and I believe in the program as to how it really connects family members. And even from home, if raising our 4 kids, we were there with them. And I think, too, as busy of a time it is, usually with 4-H, yet mom and dads will go to the meetings, they'll help them with projects, they'll go to the county fairs or even the 4-H softball teams. And I think this is a strong suit that we need to remember. And I judge at many county fairs all over southeastern Minnesota, and if I can help 4-H members reach their potential or give them some ideas to what to do for next year, it's worth it all. It comes back to me by seeing the kids just improve on their skills, their expertise on their projects, just as Paige has done with her horticulture. It is a very well worth project, but I believe in it. That's why I keep doing it.
Well, thank you for the good work you do. And Paige, is the fair the highlight of the 4-H year?
I would say so. When the county fair is a very exciting time, but I would say state fair, as you get to the age, is a very exciting time as well. Just getting to see all your old friends too. It seems to be that every year you get to know more kids through 4-H, and you see them year after year, and it's a really great experience to be able to compete, but have a friendly competition where we can learn and help others learn.
And I can attribute to that many times. We may be out someplace, and our kids used to be talking to people, and I would say to my husband, well, who are they talking with? And he would say, I don't know. And later on, my kids would say, I met them through 4-H. I met them at Washington, or I met them through the 4-H program, and right away, you know, they bonded. They were friends. It was a neat way to meet more friends than you would normally have met without being in a 4-H program.
Really good points. Paige, we asked Jan for a website for 4-H. Do you have one for FFA that you can share?
www.mnffa.org.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I noticed you brought a 4-H mug in, and there's 4 H's on it. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. Head, heart, hands, and health.
I pledge my
my head to clear thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands for larger service, my health for better living, for my family, my country, my community, and my world.
Excellent. The Elkton 4-H, Elkton Upstreamers at Elkton always started the meeting with that pledge. Do you still do that?
Absolutely. Every 4-H, youth 4-H club, as well as an adult 4-H club, whether you be the alumni, always starts off with a 4-H pledge, and then the national pledge, the flag pledge, always.
Excellent. And there used to be a nice catalog where you could order things like this.
There still is.
I'm sure that website that you mentioned, which if you would give that again, please.
It's www.extension.umn.edu.
Perfect. And if you don't have a computer or you don't get that website, you probably could call the extension agent.
Call
like
the
you
local
mentioned.
extension office. Yes, coffee tastes really good in a 4-H mug. It tastes very, very good.
And they have some nice fundraisers. Olmsted County had a nice fundraiser on a Sunday afternoon. I think it was the pulled pork sandwiches.
We had in April. We had a fundraiser, hog roast, and I was in charge of the silent auction. We also had live auction that day, and it was just a fun time for everybody to come together. A lot of alumni as well as the 4-Hers, supporters come together on that. We also have a candy sale earlier in the year, and nowadays with everything in budget cuts, you need fundraisers, but it is also a time for all clubs to come together. We see clubs come together at the county fair and maybe in a little bit of a competition way, and that's all right. But when you have a fundraiser, everybody's there for the fun. We were raising it for the for the whole entire program.
And not only was there great food and great people, there were really nice things to bid on.
I bid on a few and I walked away with a few.
It was great. Are you involved in that, Paige?
Not as much as the fundraisers. I used to be. We used to always sell the cookies, and through FFA we'd sell fruit. And those were two of our big fundraisers. It helped us get out into the community and meet our neighbors and other people and raise some money for a good cause.
Sales skills that helped you in
Yes.
college,
Yes.
helped you with your internship at Merchants Bank.
Yes.
Excellent. Ladies, we have about 2 minutes left. Anything you'd like to summarize about 4-H or FFA tonight?
I would just say families, if you need a program that can really be a family program with your kids, 4-H is really strong on that. As busy as the world is, whether we have sports, try to balance something that you can really do with a family. And there are life skills, whether it be meeting new friends, taking opportunities, it builds character, and it really gets you involved in your community. Call the local extension office and join 4-H.
Excellent. Paige?
Anyone can make a difference. I've learned that through taking on the role as the coordinator of the Minnesota Junior Spring Classic Cattle Show. Just a handful of people can make a difference in the lives of over 150 youth, and just branching out, whether it's taking a kid fishing or teaching them about wildlife or opening up your home to them to help them learn how to record keep or anything of the sort. Anyone can make a difference. You don't have to know a lot about agriculture, because agriculture is spread wide. There's so many different avenues with 4-H and FFA and other youth programs. And I just encourage everyone to get involved in to figure out the passion that we figured out through agriculture and youth programs.
Do you think after you graduate from college you'll use these skills?
Yes, most definitely.
Jan, how many fairs do you judge at?
I judge anywhere from 8, 9, or 10 every single year.
8 or 9 different county fairs.
That's correct.
So you put a lot of miles and a lot of time in.
Absolutely. And I love it. I've been judging now for about 25, 28 years.
Awesome. Thank you both so much for what you do and also for being on Farm Connections. It's been absolutely a delight.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. For more information, log on to ksmq.org and click on Farm Connections. There you'll find past episodes and participate with blogs, and you can submit your ideas. Don't forget to email the show at ksmq.org. Tune in next time as we continue discussing the impacts of agriculture on all of us. From everyone at Farm Connections, I'm Dan Hoffman. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week. Excellent. Thank you.
Good evening. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Carlton Frank. Tonight we're talking